A change of venue hearing in the Freddie Gray case is now set for Thursday in Baltimore. Defense teams for the 6 officers charged in connection with Gray's death say it is impossible for them to get a fair trial in Baltimore. Gray's death, of course, sparked weeks of violent riots that left protesters and police alike injured. And in announcing charges against the police, the Baltimore state's attorney made these statements.
To the people of Baltimore and the demonstrators across America, I heard your call for no justice, no peace. Last but certainly not least, to the youth of this city, I will seek justice on your behalf.
Nima Haddadi is a former prosecutor, Jay Apt, criminal defense attorney. Gentlemen, appreciate you both being here. Last week in court, the judge said those statements by Marilyn Mosby were concerning but did not rise to the level of prosecutorial misconduct. Therefore, she could stay on the case. Now comes this change of venue hearing. Jay, based on all those comments, based on the riot, it seems like it would be very difficult to find 12 jurors who don't have an opinion one way or another in Baltimore.
I agree, Leland. This case is perfect for a change of venue. There's a relative short time frame between the riots and when the trial is going to take place. The violence from the riots has either directly or even indirectly affected everyone in Baltimore. And you have not just the DA, but other public officials who are publicly commenting on the trial that affects the jury pool. So it really taints the jury pool. It really is a prime case to try and have a change of venue. And there's legal precedent for it. Both Maryland courts and the U.S. Supreme Court have created precedent to allow a change of venue in this type of circumstance. And I've read the briefs filed by the defense lawyers. They're very well written, and I think a change of venue is a good idea.
All right, so Nima, the prosecutors say, well, we're not necessarily against a change of venue, but we'd like to go through jury selection first, question potential jurors to see if we can find 12 people. But don't you run into a case here where jurors come in and say, well, yes, I can be fair and impartial, but really they're concealing their own opinions?
No, the only people that could truly determine if the Baltimore jurors can be fair and impartial is the citizens of Baltimore. Voir dire was created for the very purpose of determining if jurors could be fair and impartial. The citizens of Baltimore deserve the opportunity to demonstrate that they can be fair and impartial. All we have to do is get out of the way and let justice run its course.
I understand the argument, but when I was on the streets of Baltimore, one of the protest chants was 12, 12, 12, 12 jurors for Freddie. How don't you have a situation where some guy goes, oh, yes, absolutely, Judge, I can be totally impartial, and he was one of the protesters who was out there? What keeps that from happening?
Voir dire does. Voir dire was created for the very purpose of determining if jurors can be fair and impartial. Every single citizen of Baltimore was not out at those protests. I believe that there are some jurors, Baltimore citizens, that can be fair and impartial.
Jay, I saw you shaking your head there.
Yeah, the problem with that argument is what happens during voir dire is both sides get to question the jurors, and someone who has bias is going to even further taint unbiased jurors by stating their opinions about what they've experienced and what's happened. The solution here is to bring in a jury pool from another part of Maryland, use people from another city in Maryland, another part of the state, bring them in. You can still have the trial in Baltimore with that judge. You just bus in other jurors who are fair and unbiased, haven't been directly or indirectly affected by the public statements of the politicians of Baltimore, by the violence and the riots there. And that way you actually do get a fair voir dire for both the state and the defense, and you can have a fair and impartial jury that is guaranteed to these defendants in the Constitution.
Well, we will see if they can find a fair and impartial jury in Baltimore or anywhere else in Maryland, especially considering how different the jury pool would look if it came from Annapolis or someplace like that. Jay Apt, Nima Haddadi, appreciate your guys' insights today. We'll see what the judge rules on Thursday. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Leland. Thanks.
Patty Ann?
Thank you.